The independent counsel law, which gave rise to Ken Starr and gave headaches to President Clinton and 20 other high-level officials, will expire at the end of June. Support for renewal is disappearing, and no one seems to care. After a hard night's work, Ed Griffin's crew is resting because they know tonight another storm is on its way. The president said yesterday Americans should be required to register their guns as they do their cars, waving a red flag in the faces of gun owner advocates who have often argued that registration could lead to further regulation, even confiscation. Within those next few years, we'll be able to do a whole lot more with a whole lot less. Taxes are confusing enough for individuals, and tips are hard to calculate. But imagine owning a business and trying to figure both of these out. Lift up the plows and back the trucks into their places. Winter hasn't arrived yet. Syracuse is the nation's snowiest metropolitan area, but this year's snowfall is a little late.
It's been a great winter so far. No snow, excellent.
Exceptionally good. Exceptionally good, that's all I can say. Really very unusual for this area, I think.
Syracuse residents have enjoyed the lack of snow and warmer temperatures. But does the absence of winter now mean we'll also see a milder winter later?
Almanac says it's going to be a hard winter. I don't think so. I think it's going to be okay.
Syracuse has not had a single day of measurable snow this month, but meteorologist Dave Eichhorn says the winter cold spell is right around the corner.
I would say that we should not count on this stretch of quiet, relatively now mild weather to continue. I would expect a late starting winter, but I don't think this winter is going to be lacking in any way.
Eichhorn says we haven't seen snow like this because our area has received a large amount of warmer air from the Pacific coast.
For us to actually get into snow, especially this time of year, we need some intrusion of cold air from farther north in latitude.
Eichhorn also says there are no statistics proving a mild November results in a mild winter. He suggests you purchase a shovel and windshield scraper so you are prepared for the snow that is definitely on its way. Joe Little, NCC News. 1,500 dogs showed up to today's 100th show. Alex here won Best in Breed of the English Springer Spaniels. It takes a lot of work to form a champion like Alex. I talked with one handler for another dog, and he told me what it takes to build a champion. While Alex is rehabbing his surgically repaired knee, he's also preparing himself to fill a larger role on the Dolphins squad. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining our NCC News Brief. I'm Joe Little. Here's a look at our top stories around the nation. Police say the two gunmen at Columbine High School were only a part of a larger conspiracy. Investigators returned to campus today to continue searching for hidden explosives a day after discovering a 20-pound propane bomb. Police say it is difficult to believe weapons of such magnitude could have been created by the two suspects, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold.
In all likelihood, it would have been another teenager, another person who was associated with this trench coat mafia group, or another person who probably lives in this area.
Police plan to release a 911 tape from the Colorado shooting later today. The tape contains two separate calls from students reporting about the rampage from inside Columbine High School. NATO continues its airstrikes against Yugoslavia, this time targeting Serbia's state television headquarters with deadly precision. Serbian officials say 10 people are dead and 20 people are buried in the debris of Radio Television Serbia. NATO says the airstrikes were aimed at slowing Slobodan Milosevic's propaganda machine and not the Serbian media. These attacks follow the destruction of Milosevic's home yesterday. 7 people are dead and 4 others are injured after a military helicopter crashed yesterday. The helicopter descended into Fort Campbell in southwestern Kentucky during a test flight. Fort Campbell is the headquarters for the Army's 101st Airborne Division. The helicopter was a UH-60L Black Hawk, used primarily for air assault and medical evacuation units. On your commute to work this morning, you might have noticed those familiar cigarette billboards missing. In a landmark decision that took effect last night, the tobacco industry agreed to take down several thousand billboards across the country. Spokespeople for the industry say they aren't worried. They still have other ways to promote their product, including magazine ads, direct mail, and hosting events at bars. And finally, what household pet is less than 5 inches tall and weighs less than a pound? No, it's not a hamster or gerbil, but these tiny Yorkshire Terriers. A Thailand man is hoping to land these treasures in the Guinness Book of World Records as the smallest dogs. These dogs will do anything to get a little attention, including being fit into a drinking glass. That's all for NCC News. I'm Joe Little. We'll be back at 11 to give you full coverage of today's local news. See you then. These children's parents worry about the quality of their education. They have every right to be concerned. Classrooms are overcrowded, and the school budget is in turmoil. Cecilia Resti is a mother of 3 boys. She attends school board meetings regularly and is unhappy with the board's progress.
There seems to be some very partisan differences reflected at the meetings that tend to take the focus away from the agenda items, and things do not get done.
Syracuse area schools rely on school boards to make decisions related to education, but sometimes these boards don't get the work done. That's why the Syracuse Parents United was formed.
To meet the needs of children today in public education, we have to all come together, and I strongly believe in the slogan that has become very much used over the last few years: it takes a whole village to raise a child.
With this in mind, Resti and other parents started the Syracuse Parents United. The organization's goal is to give parents the authority to have a say in the education of their children.
I think it's very important that we move slowly to do the work that parents want to do.
SPU has already gained the attention of area principals. Casanova Middle School's principal Maureen Carroll believes parents need to become a larger part of the education equation.
I'm very satisfied with the way that parents can give input here, but I think what we're trying to do right now is to reach more parents and to communicate more with parents that yes, we do want their input, and to continue to join and be parts of organizations where they can be heard.
The school board is supportive of the Syracuse Parents United, and parents are positive about the group's potential. The effort is worthwhile when the result is a better education. Joe Little, NCC News. A burglar approaches your home with the intent to take away something belonging to you. 1 out of every 10 houses will be robbed this year. Your house could be the one, unless you take a few preventative measures to protect your investment. A simple deadbolt and key is often the first line of defense against burglars. Security technician Terry Campbell installs such devices used to ward off intruders, but he says new protection is needed these days.
It's becoming a bigger problem. We get a lot of them with the home security systems as far as alarm systems, where the alarm systems will stop them.
A security system is the best bet to keep your family safe. But if you're away from home a little longer period of time, there's a few other tricks to help prevent perpetrators from plundering your house.
Pick up the newspapers, make sure that the mail is being taken in by somebody else, maybe a neighbor or a family member or something like that. If it's in the summertime or springtime, make sure the lawn is mowed. Snowing time, shovel the driveway. Things that make it look like you're still living there.
Other hints to deter intruders are to leave on a radio and put some house lights on timers. Burglars will think someone is inside the house and turn away. These steps will prevent you from joining the more than 4,000 Onondaga County homes that are robbed each year. Any step is worth taking when it comes to your home. Joe Little, NCC. Welcome to NCC News at 4. I'm Joe Little.
And I'm Aru Pandey. Our top story this afternoon, the NATO offensive in Kosovo.
After 2 nights of attacks, NATO attacked more Yugoslav targets in a mid-afternoon airstrike. Today's assault targeted the Yugoslav capital of Belgrade. Air raid sirens sounded in the capital and several other cities.
Dr. Jack Kevorkian has a new legal strategy for his murder trial.
Fire himself. Kevorkian, who has been serving as his own attorney, has decided to no longer represent himself. The doctor is on trial for the death of a Lou Gehrig's disease patient by lethal injection. Giants fans haven't had much to cheer about this season, but a chance to unseat the Broncos from winning an NFL record 19th straight game can certainly provide some added incentive. And it did. Let's go to the Meadowlands, where John Elway...
Okay, he graduated in 1877 and died almost 60 years ago.
And tonight, President Clinton will pardon Henry O. Flipper, the Army's first commissioned black officer. Flipper was a former slave and was the 6th black to enter West Point, but the first to graduate.